Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today behind me I've got something a little bit more special for the channel. It's a car that I've been meaning to get on the channel for quite a while, and now it's finally here. So yeah, let's go and introduce the BMW M240i. So the BMW M240i, this is the G42, and what a colour this is. This is finished off in the Thunder Night Purple. This is pretty much exactly how I would spec my G42 M240i. It has got the 19-inch alloy wheels, and just looking at this car in the sun, it absolutely pops. It's a high spec M240i, this one, and I'm so glad that I've now got it on the channel. We're going to go through all of the spec talk on this car shortly, but just want you guys to just take in exactly how this car is finished off. We've got a bit of condensation going on in the lights there, no idea what that's about, but I really like how this car is like just styled. I mean, these kidney grills, for example, they are like kind of like vented as well, so these vents do open up, but they're not overly large, and I think it's got a real purposeful stance from the front end here. So the M240i is based on a 3 Series rather than a 1 Series, and just look at those dimensions there. Like, it's got a real nice swooping bonnet and short overhangs on the front as well. So if we move around the rear end of the car, we have got this big diffuser plastic piece, but you have got some big exhaust tips as well, and you've got a real exhaust in there. I really think that this is probably one of the best looking BMWs out there, along with, like, let's say the 3 Series that was on the channel not long ago. It has got a small lip spoiler there. We've got 19-inch alloys all around, and they're wrapped around in the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tyres. We have got a red caliper as well on this one. This is actually a LCI of the M240i, even though that the 2 Series hasn't been around that long. So we've got flush door handles here. BMW do make a big deal about these new flush style door handles, but I mean, all BMWs from the 90s had them anyway. They are quite large. Now we're going to move around into the interior, into the car, and give you a little talk about how this is set up compared to the pre-facelift. So the interior of the M240i is pretty much like the 3 Series that was in not long ago. You've got these lovely display screens here. It's even got a head-up display, which is fantastic for this car. You've got a Harman Kardon sound system as well, and most importantly, you've actually got a panoramic roof, or more like a sunroof as well, which, if you think about it, look how much light it lets into this cabin. It's quite a, let's say, quite a dark cabin otherwise, because you've got black headlining, you've got the black leather as well, and in this it just lets in so much light, which is fantastic. When you're sitting behind the wheel here, everything looks like a 3 Series. This whole entire console, the whole dash, is lifted straight from the G20. The only thing about the M240i is you do have, or the 2 Series for that matter, you do have a bespoke door card here. And the best thing is, when I'm sat here in the driving seat, you've got a massive kind of like window and like a big door as well, because it's obviously a coupe. Now, as this is based on the 3 Series, the driving dynamics and all of that, I'm hoping, are going to be very similar to that of a 3 Series and not closely related to, let's say, the 1 Series. 1 Series is based on a Mini, so it's got nothing to do with that. A lot of the parts have been taken directly from the 3 Series parts bin, which is pretty much a good thing in my opinion. I do like the whole center console down here. This is finished off in a black piano, which is, let's say, prone to smudge marks and scratches. This bit down here, again, very much lifted straight from, like say, the G23 series. I wish that they maintained a gear stick here rather than this switch button, but again, if you look closely, it's got quite a few options here as well. You've got surround camera, you've got obviously like the sports button, which is standard feature. You do have adaptive on here as well, which I've already checked, because you can go into sports individual or configure the individual there, and you've got the damping adaptive suspension, which is a good thing. So the other thing that we do have is a heated steering wheel, which I think is quite important for a cold morning. And I just like the way these door cards are kind of designed as well. You've got like a massive door handle here, and the armrest as well on the door card is nicely placed. You've got electric memory seats, which is a nice feature as well. And if you look at the door mirrors, you've got M door mirrors, which is pretty decent there as well, which just makes it feel like you're actually driving a little bit more of a sports car. I do like the head-up display as well. I mean, this is exactly how I would spec up my M240i. You know, you've got a lot of like the lane departure warnings and all of that good stuff as well, the safety features, but this, from a in the way that this car has been set off, is pretty much amazing. And I do like the way the color just pops as well. So I'm now going to talk about the performance of this M240i, starting with the engine. B58 3-litre straight 6 turbo engine. It's very similar to the one that we had in the M140i a few years ago, but it's the latest iteration. 375 odd horsepower, 500 newton meters of torque. This M240i comes with Xdrive. The 0 to 60 time in this is ridiculously quick, like 4 seconds. It's pretty much on par with an F82 M4, and obviously with Xdrive it's going to put the power down and not lose much of that, so it's probably even quicker than an M4 F82. I just love the way this car is just sitting there. So I think what's left to do here is a start up, give it some revs and hit those country lanes. Let's do that right now. So guys, let me know how you think that this car sounds. To me, it sounds like it's been quite muted. EU regulations and all of that good or bad stuff, however you may want to see that. You can't argue the fact that it is still a 3-litre straight 6 engine, so I'm quite glad that we've got that power unit under the bonnet. I'm now going to take it on those country lanes and give you my driving impressions of this M240i Xdrive. So behind the wheel of the M240i, I mean, this car is such a cruiser. I mean, I've been driving this car best part of the morning today, and I must say that it's pretty much all the performance car that you ever need. I mean, this might not be like a full-on M car, it's an M Lite, but it's so comfortable. You've got the adaptive suspension in here, and it does a pretty damn good job about how it goes about its business on all our UK battered roads, and it's got plenty of power. I mean, it actually feels quicker around town than, let's say, an M4 does. An M4 around town in its normal second off mode does feel quite heavy. This feels really nimble and quite light on its feet as well, and it's just an overall great package in, like, say, a performance car. And then obviously you've got the 6-cylinder engine as well, which, you know, works absolutely brilliantly. Always make sure that, you know, you've got the power on tap as well. And the sound that this thing makes, although it's kind of like muted, it's pretty good because it still has a 6-cylinder engine rather than, like, say, a 4-pot from most of its offerings. I've got the car in normal comfort mode, and honestly guys, the car actually performs really well. I'm just going to close the sunroof for a while so you guys can hear me. And it's actually really light. I mean, the 4-wheel drive system in here, the Xdrive, is pretty much on demand anyway, but the car just flies, man. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm just going to stick the car into its full-on Sports Plus mode. Fantastic. Downshifts on that as well. You do get like the odd sort of crackle as well that comes through. It's like a boom sound, like when he changes gears. It's like, you know, like with the DSG fart that you normally get on like those cars. This produces like a boom, which is quite interesting. Just going to let you guys hear the engine. It's like when it's changing gears, it kind of gives you this little kick in the back as well, which adds to, like, say, the drama and stuff. And but yeah, I mean, this thing compared to like the previous M240i's in, like, I don't know, the F21 or F22 or whatever they were called, this is way more grown up in the way this thing handles. That was only rear wheel drive, whereas this is Xdrive, and this thing is like, it's phenomenal in the way it just gets you down the road. I mean, don't get me wrong guys, this is still rear wheel biased in my opinion, in the way it kind of still oh man, so there the car literally gave way and then quickly clawed you back in, and you could just feel how that power was kind of being shifted from the rear to the front. If that was an M4 or even the previous M240i, that could have gone horribly wrong, but that just felt like it was really controllable, and the car just got me to how it wanted me to be heading rather than the other way. And yeah, that was interesting. And that's the beauty of Xdrive there. You know, if you go around the corner a little bit quick, it will claw you back in and it will correct you. I must say that the design of this car from inside and the driving position is absolutely fantastic. Although you might feel like you're sitting in a 3 Series with the way this cabin is designed, the massive window on the side here and the cocoon driving position, because these seats are very different to the ones that you get in the 3 Series. You do feel like you're in something a little bit more special. And the way this thing just pulls, 500 Newton meters of torque, that's diesel territory. I used to be amazed at how that engine used to perform in my old M140i from a few years ago. The thing with those cars was they were never like kind of like handling machines as such, whereas in this iteration with this Xdrive and the way this car is set up, it kind of brings everything together. I mean, you've actually got a real-time 0 to 60 now, like, you know, off, let's say 4 seconds. I think BMW themselves say it's about 4.3 seconds in this, but it's way quicker than that with that Xdrive. I just love the way this gearbox is actually set up. It's a very quick car, guys. I think my only criticism here is that when you do go around, like say a corner a little bit at speed, there's a little bit more body lean in this car compared to, let's say, a full fat M car. But that's, I think, what you'd expect from an M Lite compared to a full fat. I mean, the plus side to that is that on a day-to-day basis, you are actually in a little bit more comfort settings rather than like a stiff suspension every day. But even in this, it's pretty good. The sound, oh, I love that sound. Wow, hugely impressed with this thing. Okay guys, so I think I'm going to wrap up on the drive here because I don't have much time with this car, and I just wanted to give you my impressions and get this on the channel as well. I think this is an amazing daily machine. You can get like, say, up to like about 30 mpg driving locally like the way I've been getting today, and when you come across like your favorite B roads, you can proper give this like the hoons and, you know, go into full sports attack mode in this. Not a full M car, but honestly the performance on tap isn't far off. I would say that the Xdrive in this is very safe, as you saw earlier on. So I would just like to point out that this car has been spec'd out right down to the point, exactly how I would like spec it, even with this colour scheme. If you have found today's vid informative, enjoyable to watch, then definitely give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and hopefully guys, in my next vid I'm going to be unveiling my new car. Hopefully I'll see you on that one. Take care, bye.